EcoSmart commercial and industrial BESS solutions. Here we have one single inverter on the hybrid part and one inverter on the string part. The single inverter is the ET, which is not the ETG2 I talked about earlier. It's a bigger ET, starting from 15 to 50 kilowatt with two platforms. One platform from 15 to 30 with the sizes of 15, 20, 25, 29.9, and 30. And the second platform for bigger C&I for 50 and 50 and for 40 and 50 kilowatts. We have in general a 110% on balance output, an IP66 ingress protection, an UPS switch when the inverter switches from grid to backup, or better yet, when the grid falls and the inverter recognizes it and then focuses on the backup load. This happened within 10 milliseconds. These inverters are elegant and compact. They are better for monitoring experiences. They have optional AFCI integration, meaning that when you place your order, if you want the AFCI option, you can add it to the inverter at factory. Of course, once you've bought the inverter, you can add it later on. We have all of 4 high power MPPTs. Again, 1.5 power surge load, 150% DC to AC ratio, and a high efficiency of 98.1%. Now it's time for me to talk about the EZLink 3000, which is the only accessory we have for easily linking inverter, as the name says. This accessory will allow mostly our hybrid inverter to be linked in parallel. The newer generation string inverter can also be used with the EZLink, but mostly this device has been created for the hybrid inverter, ESG2 on the single phase, ET and ETG2 on the 3-phase. This allow to realize the master-slave configuration with one inverter being connected, being the controller of the whole system, with the other inverters being connected through the EZLink. It's IP65. It allows real-time collection of data and analysis, versatile, low-cost, plug-and-play, and facilitate the scalability. Of course, that's why it's there to create a multiple effect of the system. And with the EZLink 3000, we'll be, for example, able to use the smaller platform ET15 to 30 kilowatt and the Lynx F series. Lynx F series, there are actually 3 types of Lynx F. There's Lynx F Plus, and Lynx F G2. We all put them under the Lynx F umbrella. So we will be able to realize on the smaller platform, 15 to 30 has 2 subsets. There's a subset from 15 and 20 kilowatt inverter that only have 1 battery input. With this, you can realize up to 131 kilowatt hours of storage for 120 kilowatt of inverter. And with the bigger platform, a bigger subset of the platform from 25 and 30, we have 2 batteries input. With this, we can realize up to 262 kilowatt hours of storage for 120 kilowatt of power. And then with the second battery on the series, which is the Lynx D, which is a newer generation of our battery, it offers less expandability, but more flexibility, meaning that whereas with the Lynx F, you usually advise people to not upgrade the modules on the battery after a year, meaning if I build my tower of 3 or 4 batteries, I can add a module on the tower after a year because I will have an issue with SOH unbalances. With the Lynx D, I have DC to DC converter included in each of the modules, allowing expandability at any time, really. You can have one module today and add other modules whenever you feel like doing it within the 10 years warranty of the batteries. So that is the key flexibility and technology improvement of the Lynx D. Although we also decided to reduce the expandability because the experience of the Lynx F has shown that not many systems will go beyond 80 kilowatt hours of storage for this type of inverters. So again, with the smaller subset, 15 to 20 kilowatt, you have maximum battery that can get to 40 kilowatt hours for per inverter. Of course, you can multiply it for 120 kilowatt hours of inverters and multiply it 40 times 4, because 4 inverters can be put in parallel with the EZLink 3000. And for the bigger platform, 25 and 30 kilowatt, 80 kilowatt hours of storage per inverter of 30, maximum 30 kilowatt, that can then be multiplied by 4 with the EZLink 3000. Now, the same inverter, the same platform from 15 to 30 kilowatt can also join a system we call a BESS, the actual first BESS system that we offer, small C&I, IP55 outdoor cabinet with temperature management, meaning that once you build the cabinet with one ET30 and the battery and the battery cabinet, you have a self-sustained system that can monitor, that can what do you say, that can I mean, the temperature control can make sure that the system doesn't overheat in summer, because the air conditioning unit will be monitoring at module and cell level to make sure the temperature are within the windows of operability. And then at cabinet level, you're also going to have monitoring of the system, of the whole cabinet, to make sure that the temperature don't go outside of the acceptability, the acceptable parameters. So it's a self-sustained cabinet, IP55, with the size of 60 kilowatt hours for the battery and up to 30 kilowatt for the inverters. Now, again, the cabinet can also be put in parallel using the EZLink 3000. The maximum of 4 inverters as before, because it's the same inverter we're talking about. The size will reach then 120 kilowatts to 720 kilowatt hours of storage. And just a little note here is about that this system will not be able to be parallel if it's off grid. So if it's off grid, you're only going to have one cabinet for the inverter and a maximum of 3 cabinet for the batteries. So the maximum will be 30 kilowatt to 100 kilowatt hours if you want to put, if you want to be off grid. And also the backup load cannot be put in parallel on this system. So these are the 2 notes of caution for this ET30 BESS solution. Now enters the STS box. So in order to overcome this limitation I talked about, we have the STS box, which has been designed for the bigger platform ET40 and 50. So the ET40 and 50 can be bought without the cabinet if you don't need any backup load or any generator compatibility. You do not need an STS box. The STS box is also be designed for the cases where with a 50 kilowatt inverter, someone has a bigger than 50 kilowatt of load. So this STS box would handle all the way to 138 kilowatt of load. The way you achieve it is you're going to be taking some from the grid and some from the generator that you have connected to achieve a bigger load for your system. So IP65 for outdoor compatibility, integration to diesel generator, 10 milliseconds of switch as before. Support off-grid operation, can be parallel off-grid, plug and play, smart cooling, robust communication protocol, and battery charging by the diesel generator when you have the STS box. So that's very important, because you need the diesel generator to basically be able to complement the grid when the grid has fallen. And in order to grow the system with the ET50 even more, there's the GT series inverter that has been introduced. It's a string inverter. It has been designed mainly to make sure that the system, which is a C&I system, can grow it will allow, for example, C&I to reach a maximum size of 5.5 megawatt. That will be 5 megawatt of GT inverters plus half a megawatt for the ET50 hybrid plus string configuration. I'll show the solutions how it look like after this slide. So this GT has maximum 10 MPPTs, IP66, is the quietest inverter on our portfolio, with a smart schooling technology. It's been priced perfectly to be very competitive. It has optional AFCL 3.0, 150% DC oversizing. It has also the option for the PID recovery. If a system goes the size of 5 MW, as I talked before, maybe you might need PID recovery to make sure that your system does not degrade with time. And you also have optional reactive power compensation at night. So it also can work 24/7 like a hybrid. Elegant, light, and compact. Efficiency highest at 99%. Now, there's a logo that has been introduced for the same 5.5 megawatts type of system I was talking about at CNI level. Obviously, to reach that level, you will need to have a maximum of 50 inverters that can be connected to this box. That means 10 hybrid inverter of 50 kilowatt for 500 kilowatt, to 40 string inverters of 125 kilowatt of the GT class that gives a maximum of 5.5 kilowatt, 5.5 megawatt of power. As all the devices are introduced before, we have a logo that allows on-grid and hybrid solution, IP65, real-time data collection and analysis, reactive power control, export power control, plug and play, facilitated scalability, as I said before, advanced communication protocol, friendly user face for all-in-one solutions. Now, the native battery for the 8050 then is what we call the BAT 100. Only one size for price position in the UK. The size is 112.6 kilowatt hours. It's a 1C rated battery. But because the inverter connected to it today is a 50 kilowatt inverter, it will be working today at 0.5C. But the next generation of the hybrid inverter will be the 8100, allowing the battery to work to its full potential of 0.9C charge and 1.1C discharge. It's IP55 outdoor. You also have temperature control, 100% DOD, maximum efficiency of 96%. Most importantly, it's a 6,000 cycle at 70% end of life battery, and with 1 year maintenance free, meaning that the distributors can now keep this battery in their warehouse up to a year without having to cycle it. Normally, the older battery will advise a 6-month cycling operation to make sure that the battery keeps a healthy state of health. But this battery comes with 6,000 cycle and 1 year maintenance free. And then, of course, the battery itself is scalable up to 4 in parallel per inverter, and giving solutions that look like this. We have a solution which is an outdoor solution, for example, which will use the SEC 3000C. We use only the ET 40 and 50 up to 10. So this is a 0.5 megawatt solution. Each ET has to be connected to its STS box. The STS box can be parallel, so that means the backup can be parallel here. And each inverter can have up to 4 BAT 100, 400 kilowatt hours, so basically 500 kilowatt hours. And they are grid connected, but the generator can allow a big load connection on the STX box, because the generator will complement, the grid will complement the load. And we also have maybe a second option that will be even more complex, because you add now the GT. You have 40 GT and 10 ET for a maximum 5.5 megawatt hours. And of course, these solutions can be monitored through our SEMS Plus platform. And I think I will not talk much about it, because that's what George will be showing. And in these solutions, if we then have a grid forming generator, wanting to say our solutions are off-grid solution or microgrid solution. They're not grid forming, meaning they cannot support the weak grid. They can work perfectly off-grid if the grid has fallen, But if then someone adds a generator that has the ability to support a grid, then you can say that you can achieve a grid forming solution with our inverter and a third-party generator that can grid form. That was a key because I had multiple times this question in the Intersolar Germany. Now, the utility solutions that we have, that will be very quick. We have two platforms, the 225 and 250 kilowatt at 15 volt DC or 800 volt AC. And then we have the bigger platform, 320 to 350 kilowatt, 1500 volt DC and 800 volt AC. And this inverter has PID recovery and anti-PID, meaning that they can have PID recovery for 24 hours, anti-PID work during the day, and PID recovery work during the night. And they're adapted for the high current modules, new generation module. They all have type 2 SPD, both DC and AC side. The bigger version, the bigger platform also have higher PLC communication that are faster. And these two inverters can be combined into containerized solution called MV stations. There will be an MV for the 250 that goes all the way to 7 megawatt. So with three sizes, 3, 5, and 7, of course, you can achieve a solution of 2.5 or 4, depending on your need, but these are the standardized solution at 3.5, 5, and 7. And the bigger platform, 320 to 350, has another solution of 9.12 MVA. And they're all compliant with IEC 676 or IEC 62271. Now, the utility products are also include what we call PCS. These are basically not yet launched, but we will be including inverter plus PCS. We're including PCS and transformer turnkey solutions. And the accessories for the utilities are a bit different from those of distribution and a C&I. So we have the ACU 3000, the EZLink 3000, and for monitoring and control, we have the Solar OS platform. And with that, I have finished. We go into any question that has been asked. And thank you for your attention. Mike. All right, so let me go back and stop the sharing. Stop sharing. All right. Good. Right. Did we have any question? I don't see anyone. So George, it's up to you now. You take over and show your.
Hi everybody. So I'm going to just try and share my screen from another device, which I have got open, the SEMS portal. I think the best way to talk about the SEMS portal is just to show you what you will see as you first come onto the SEMS portal. So if you're an installer at this point, you'll see all of the plants that you've set up, whether they're running, waiting, offline, or in fault conditions. So you immediately know which ones you'd need to address. If we were to go to the offline system, we can then access that. If you're an end user, obviously you're only going to see most likely the one system here, unless you own multiple properties, in which case you can integrate them all into the one place so that you can have access to them from the same app. This will show you a total generation through all your plants throughout the time, this month, year, lifetime, and then you've got some of the environmental contributions, which I presume is something quite similar to what we're going to share with the Solarfox display. I'm going to just select a random installation now. These are all demonstration installs, so there's no risk of me sharing someone's data. And what you can see here is just a flow chart of the energy. So we've got 7.79 kilowatt hours of kilowatts of generation from the solar right now, with a load of 423 watts, meaning that the export is 7.32 kilowatts. It's laid out in a nice simple way to make it easy for people to see what's happening with their energy and where is it going. Obviously, one of the most common sort of requests I get is people saying something like, why is my battery not discharging? But you could easily show someone here that the solar is there to supply them energy and there's no need. As we scroll down this page here, you've got today's generation and revenue, which of course you can set to be a different currency. This is in Australian dollars, I think that is. And then you come on to energy charts and how much of your energy you've used in the house, how much of it you fed into the grid. And then again, from your PV and battery, how much you've consumed and how much you've consumed from the grid. These are what customers in general, they really want to see this, to see how much of their own energy they're consuming. Down here, you've got a graph which puts all of these bits of information into one point. It can be a little bit tricky to see on a phone screen, but if you click your finger on specific moments in time, it will tell you precisely what was happening at that moment. And then at the bottom of the page, we've got the environmental contribution specific to this plant, which is in a commercial aspect. This is what a lot of people want to see in their reception halls and in their canteens, so that their staff or customers can see how good a job they're doing and playing their part in the energy transition. If we go back to the top of the page, we can now go to devices. If you have a plant which has a string inverter and a hybrid inverter, they're both going to be listed here, and you'll see sub devices below it like batteries. If you click on the device, you get to see a bit more of an in-depth. This is available to customers and installers as well. You get to see a bit more of an in-depth information into what the inverter is doing, total generation, the inner temperature, output power currently, which will match what we were seeing on the flow chart earlier, the output voltage on each phase, and the DC voltages and currents, the battery voltage, everything there, whether there's any warnings on the BMS, the state of health of the battery, the state of charge of the battery. And if you're an installer and you're on this page, you'll also have access to some monitoring controls for remote control of the battery, things like setting time of use charges and stuff. But that's a separate webinar, that one. And then alarms. And obviously the demonstration installs haven't had any alarms. But if you do have an alarm, it will tell you whether they are current or whether they're ongoing, and you can actually go and filter that there and select between ongoing or resolved. This is really helpful when you're trying to diagnose a problem. Okay, really, that is the SEMS Plus app in a nutshell, and I think that is all the information you're going to need from me here, because the rest is going to be how Solarfox integrate that into their displays. So I don't know, Michael or Sebastian, if you want to come in, or if anyone has any questions about the SEMS Plus app.
Can I just add into that?
Yeah, go on, Mark.
What we recommend is, if you're an installer, please contact either your local GoodWe distributor or GoodWe themselves, because it's a tiered system. So installers need an installer account, and then that way they gain access to all the GoodWe systems they've installed, where an end client account will only see that individual end client. So we've got the facility to add installer accounts at your request. So any installation company looking to add GoodWe to their portfolio, it's definitely recommended to have an installer account.
You can also add subs, like subbies in as a sub organization, so that then when they log into your app, you still have control over their systems, but they can only see the systems that they've installed for you.
Yeah.
I didn't want to go too much into that in depth, because I don't know where to stop with that. So I mean, I think if people want to know more about the SEMS Plus system or ecosystem, I could be happy to talk anyone through any of the more complicated parts of that. Thank you, Mark. I'll stop sharing this screen now. Can work out how. Okay, Sebastian and Michael, I think it's over to you guys.
Okay, so let's share my screen. Okay, can you see it?
Yep.
Right. Yeah, I'm pleased to introduce Solarfox to you today. Maybe you have seen a screen somewhere in a commercial or public building in your country. We are installed mostly at the entrance, showing in an appealing way the energy production of a PV plant. The typical situation is that you have an installation on a flat roof. It's mostly a commercial building where a flat roof has a PV plant, and nobody is able to see that because when you enter the building, it's very high, and nobody noticed that there's a PV plant installed. And that's where we help. We are able to visualize at the entrance of the building that there was an investment into sustainable renewable energy. And we are able to visualize energy production, CO2 avoidance, and all the information related to CSR or ESP. So in that situation, the PV plant is not just producing the energy and something for an Excel table. So it's also a marketing instrument where you are able to address emotional parts, image, and other things when it comes to renewable energy. The typical display is adapted to corporate design. That means we can adapt the energy data to design of a company. So any corporate design can be set in our content management system. And what you see here are just some examples how it can look. We are able to visualize the production, the consumption, the CO2 avoidance, and many other figures. At the right part, you see a comparison where just to make it understandable, easy understandable, what it means to drive with a car, or see what comparison it is if you have 2,000 tons of CO2 avoided. You could plant 70,000 plants or trees, and this comparison is easy to understand, better to understand than just the figure of CO2s in tons avoided. And this we try to communicate to put these mostly complex figures into easy understandable communication. So what we do is we focus mostly here on the commercial installation. We are present in public buildings like schools, town halls, and similar buildings, everywhere where you have a high number of visitors. And the displays present a kind of slideshow. So that means it's similar to a PowerPoint presentation, but we add there live data from the roof. We are independent from the location, so it doesn't matter where the PV plant is installed. The display communicates via internet, and so the screen can be also installed in a totally different location. Here's an example how the communication works. So the display receives all the data via the internet, and it's just connected to a router or 4G router, for example. And in that position, it doesn't matter where the PV plant is installed. It doesn't need any direct cabling. And we control the screen via a cloud system. So the whole content is managed via a content management system. You just log in with your username and password. And afterwards, you are able to change the slideshow and the content which is shown on the screen. The screen updates normally every 15 minutes the data. So that means there's a continuous slideshow. And if there's any interruption, for example, internet loss, whatever, the slideshow will continue, and the visitor or the viewer will not recognize that there's any problem. He will just see a slideshow, and once the connection is reestablished, the data is updated automatically. So we do that since more than 15 years, so we know how to guarantee a system which is very stable and ruggedized. We have two major product lines, the SF300 series. These displays are designed and produced for indoor use. And we have the outdoor solution, Solarfox SF600. The size here is available from 46 to 55, a little bit bigger. These screens can be installed in outdoor environment. They come up with IP56, so you can install them in direct sunlight, or they could be wet or moisture. All these outdoor situations are no problem for these devices. They come up with a high bright screen, so direct sunlight is no problem for these screens. Just to compare that, an indoor screen has a brightness of 350 to 400 candela, and an outdoor screen comes up with 3000 candela. So it's much more brightness there, and so these screens could be seen in sunlight very good. Our screens are used in this kind of build or field of application. These public buildings, for example, retailers, we are present at hundreds or thousands of retail stores in Europe, because the retailers know that it's an emotional part and a significant part for image to communicate their sustainability. And when it comes to organic food and other things, also the energy consumption and the energy situation of the trademark is significant. So that's why the retailers are communicating a lot about their activities when it comes to renewable energies and energy efficiency. We are present at many PV installers in showrooms. PV installers know our solution and provide this to the end customers finally. So that's one significant customer group of us. We are present in a lot of church or NGO organizations, many schools. Here in Germany, we have had a spending program from the government and schools, so that's why we are present in thousands of schools. Even in Ireland, there's a governmental program for PV where we are very present, and of course a lot of kindergartens. So, and finally, the industrial companies. We have here, for example, in Germany, many industrial companies who try or who always want to visualize their sustainability, and even when it comes to welcome room and new buildings, it's a significant point for them. Okay. The Solarfox displays come up in a package. It's plug and play. All of our screens are prepared to install, so the installer is able to get the system running in less than half an hour. So the setup is web-based. You just need to register the screen on a website or with your mobile phone. And once that is done, the system is connected to the monitoring system like GoodWe. While that registration process, the serial number is entered, and you choose in the software which system you want to connect. So you would connect it here to the SEMS portal. And once that is done, you just need username and password or an ID of the PV plant. And then both systems are connected to each other, and the Solarfox display can be installed. And you just need 4 screws mounted on the wall, connected to internet like a Wi-Fi or a wired connection, and power. And that's all you have to do to get the system running. It's pre-configured. That means nobody has to add pictures, whatever. You just receive the screen with a pre-configured slideshow, and you can keep it or you can adapt it to your needs, like individual background images or videos and other things. But it's pre-configured, so the system can be set up very fast. Even if you are in the office as an installer, you can pre-configure the screen, and the installer on site just needs to plug in and connect, and the system is running. So that is a very helpful solution for the installer, finally. Yeah, we support more than 70 interfaces, so all leading systems are connected. And today we show you how we can connect a GoodWe system. Sebastian will later follow up with a little overview about our software, the backend system. We can visualize any kind of information. So all information which are part of SEMS or in the GoodWe portal can be shown on the screen, even when it comes to energy efficiency, energy autarky, storage information, whatever. We can import this information. We load the data into our database, and it's integrated into an appealing slideshow. So if there's any bigger company, any bigger trademark like a car manufacturer, and they have a selling room, it's very easy to implement the logo. Here we see the Solarfox logo, but it's very easy to replace or to insert with an individual logo. Even colors can be changed, headlines can be changed, so the whole corporate design can be adapted. For example, for the German railway, it would be red. This is a typical color of them. And if you have another major color, the whole content will be adapted to yellow, for example, for the post whatever here. Okay, this is another example where you can see what we can do. So the content management can be compared to a PowerPoint application. So you can move, you can switch, you can replace elements. And finally, that's what you get. But the elements are variables. So on the place where you see here 700 kilowatt hours, there you could place another variable, or you could change the size, for example. Okay. On the right side, you see our online management. This is the software to change the content of the screen. It's very easy to use. It's meanwhile our third version. So we have added a lot of feedback and ideas from installers, from end customers, to get the system easy to use and to maintain the screen content easily. If you want, you can register a free demo account. Actually, we are in the transition to our newest version, so maybe we could also add into our system. But well, you could, if you register the screen, you are able to test the slideshow and to show that on your own desktop screen, and you would have a full impression of the whole system finally. And if you want, you can contact our support team. We help also with a little lesson how to use the system, but more or less it's self-explaining. And nobody needs any introduction from our side from the beginning on. Here's something new. That is the Solarfox Nano. It's a display designed for residential. This display comes up with an e-ink screen. That means it can be used more than 60 days without power. And we have designed this solution due to interest and request by installers who we are very present in commercial buildings, and they ask us always to develop a solution for the residential market. And everybody knows that there are a lot of mobile phones and tablets around, but it's always a pain to take out your phone to check how much energy is in your storage and to check the battery or the sun production when there are clouds around. And here you can see that always on screen, and it just needs energy when the display is updated. So that is a little bit different to a typical monitor. That's the difference because of the e-ink technology. And we have developed this solution as an easy to understand display. So even if there are older customers or people who are not so used to details when it comes to kilowatt hours and all this technical information, so we have reduced this to a very basic information, but the information which is needed to know about the situation of your storage or the sun production. At the moment, we collect a little bit the feedback from the installers. So which information are really needed finally. Not all the systems are similar, not all technical information due to our high number of interfaces is always the same. So we will reduce it to the major features. And finally, this display, it's 7.5 inch. So that's small, but big enough to read it, even when the people are older and the eyes are getting worse. So this display is helpful in the family to address all people of a household, not only the technical persons who are involved into the details. What you can see on the left side is a white version of the display. We will have black and white. And on the left part or the right part of the frame, it's possible to insert the logo of the installer. And here we have a nice instrument to boost referrals and to have a giveaway for installers when they finish a project and they want to stay in contact with the customer and other people around the customer who meet and talk about PV and possibly about the installer who has done a good job. So the display also is able to visualize other information. We will focus on the major, like weather or a little recommendation when it's a good time to start the washing machine. We all know that this can be done automatically, but to automate in house is not always perfect, because when you put in your clothes and the machine starts too early and it's laying in the water, maybe it's a little bit too long, and then it's not good for the clothes or for the smell. So what we support is a data update from 5 to 30 minutes, and with this update level, we can use the display for more than 30 to up to 60 days. It's plug and play. You just need Wi-Fi. The system starts with an hotspot. You connect the system to your local Wi-Fi, and once that is done, the system is running. Of course, you just need to connect it to the GoodWe system here, but therefore it's the same process. You just need the user data to connect the system, and that's done by a mobile phone, easily via an app. Okay, so this is a new product. We are not at the moment, it's not available, but we are doing everything that it will be ready end of the summer. And if you are interested, feel free to contact us to get it as early as possible. So we are available, and if you need further help, the colleagues are available for technical information or sales information. Okay, so if we have a little of time, we can have a look for our online management, and afterwards we can have a look for possible questions. So I would hand over to Sebastian to get a little impression about our software for the bigger screens in the commercial sector.
Okay, thank you, Michael. So I will share my screen in a second. Okay, just a quick little overview about our new online management. And I will show you how easy it is to connect a GoodWe blend in our system. So here you can see a dashboard where you can have an overview about your slideshows, all your Solarfox displays, and all your data sources. So you can see if they are running or they are offline or don't have an internet connection. And you have quick actions at the top of the sidebar here on the left side, where you can add a new slideshow, add a display, or add a data source. So it's pretty simple to add a GoodWe blend. So you just search for GoodWe in here. You just type in a data source name. You can choose it whatever you want. And then you just type in the facility ID of the blend you can find in the SEMS portal. I already did that here. So you can see the GoodWe blend is connected. And I will just open up a slideshow, which we adapted a little bit to CI of Chanel. So in Michael's presentation, you just saw our normal standard slides you will get out of the box, but you can also configure a slideshow how you want and change colors of the text. You can change background images. You can put your own logo there. So you're free to adapt the slideshow to your needs, so it won't look like a Solarfox display anymore. So it matches your corporate brand design. So it's just pretty easy to change content of the display. You can change the order of the slides. You can disable a slide or hide a slide on the display. You can change the duration, how long a slide will be shown on the display. Changing the background is pretty easy, but just double click on the background here and choose a new picture, upload your own images, upload a picture of the plant itself or the building, and you're ready to go. You have a settings tab here where you have a live preview of the slide. And in the layout settings, for example, you can change the colors and yeah, many settings. And you have a live preview here on the left side, so you can see what you will change. That's also new in our new online management version. So you have the view live on the left side.
Sebastian, possibly you can show a standard for an installer who starts with our standard slideshow. So when he receives the system, he will receive the standard layout. And of course, for bigger companies who request that, we can do it as a service, or they do it in their marketing department. And what we see here is a typical standard slideshow, which comes up plug and play.
Yeah, there are some views we can change. So there's a monthly overview, a yearly overview, a carbon avoidance slide, a weather forecast. So you can show what you want here. It's pretty easy to configure. And here's, for example, a background blur edited, but you can disable the blur. So it's just fully up to you what you will show here. So there are many features. Yeah, Michael.
Okay. What we can also show. Could you go back to the slideshow?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So what you see here are the different slides, and the total slideshow can be always adapted to your needs. Even when it comes to videos, we could also integrate into the slideshow a YouTube video, for example, or a drone video. And even a drone video could be in the background. So the whole data will be shown on that background drone video. So you fly over your company building with a circle, and the energy data is shown up front. So this is something new we have developed, and we will come up in the next week with a lot in the next weeks and months with a lot of examples of new installations where customers have done that. So we have now the weather to do the videos, and it's always impressive when you have a nice environment and trees around, and you have these pictures combined with your energy data. And well, we don't want to go too deep into the details. This is just a basic overview about options. And while in the left side are a lot of settings when you have different screens, different locations, different buildings, you can all manage them via our online management, and you are totally independent where the displays are located. So even the installer has always the option to maintain the screen which they have installed, and it's possible to forward access and user accounts to end customers. So the end customer maintains the screen maybe for himself, but the installer is always available to help if needed. So with that part, we cover the typical installation process, and it's a well known system in many countries by the installers to solve that customer demand to have a nice display in the lobby. Okay, Sebastian, do you have some additional information?
No, but I think for a detailed overview, the people can contact us and we will show in detail the all functionality of the display.
Yeah. So do we have any questions or? Okay, so fine. So we can hand over to to the GoodWe team.
Mark, you're mute. You're on mute. Yeah, Mark is now in charge.
Okay, Mark, you are muted.
Okay, you can got me now.
Yeah.
Hi there, everyone. I'm here representing Wagner Renewables. We're a UK independent distributor and wholesaler and design studio based in Chichester in West Sussex. We've been working with GoodWe since 2010, and we first purchased and installed our first Solarfox in 2021. So we're very selective with the portfolio of equipment we work with, and you know, we've got great working relationships with both these companies. What's been an independent installer and design studio, we've always conscious of the add-ons, and to make everyone would like solar, but they're not maximizing the PR benefits, and this is where the combination of the Solarfox and the GoodWe are really gelled together, that you can customize this as a visual statement. Your additional slideshows can give you additional public information, company statements, our environmental policies. It's totally customable, and it's we've had them installed in colleges, railway stations, commercial buildings, and the fact that is you've got indoor use for smaller systems and IP rated outdoor systems. It can be used in all different environments. From a physical installation point of view, you need a USB keyboard, ideally a double socket at the location, and either the connection is going to be LAN or Wi-Fi. Fairly simple to configure. The templates and the adjustments and the way the software's been developed is very good. And you know, you've always got Solarfox and ourselves as a UK distributor available to give support. Darren in our office is quite proficient with setting all the slideshows up and assisting people. We keep stock in the UK, subject to the quantity of orders and our stock shifts. There may be a small delay while we import directly from Solarfox, but we generally hold stock in our warehouse in the UK. Bit more background about us independently. We've been in the industry since 2008. I personally joined Wagner Renewables in 2014. I'm now the technical director. We've got our own internal design studio, so someone can come to us, either an end client or an installer, and with a proposed location, and we can design any type of system, whether it's solar PV only, battery storage, EV, ground array. We do consultancy, and we've also got the design and installation arm, and then we've got our own installation arm, and maintenance. So we really do a full turnkey. Like I said, we're unique in we can supply any type of mounting system and any type of inverter and battery system, but the ones we normally stock, we're quite protective of our portfolio, and we've had a long-term standing relationship with both these brands of GoodWe and Solarfox. If anyone's got any questions or would like UK support, please contact us. We've got prices. A typical, if you got the price of the up to 32k, can be shipped through normal easy carriage, about £25 for the shipping. But if you're going larger than the 32-inch display, then it has to be palletized. So then the shipping's a bit more expensive, but of course you're trying to protect the product coming out of our warehouse. But all the people who have seen the product and can look at the promotional aspects as an add-on to their clients, and there's a lot of hospitals now with integrated PV, and they're using these in the hospitals to do a lot of promotional, you know, making people feel better in a bad situation. looking at slideshows, the energy that's being produced, public information. Everything works really well together. Hopefully this it's a bit of a short, sweet speech from me, because the predominant technical stuff has already been mentioned by GoodWe and Solarfox. We are here to help as a UK representative. So at the moment, I'd just like to thank everyone for joining us.
And thank you, Mark. Thank you so much, Michael, Sebastian, Ghislaine, and George. Thank you so much for the insightful information and on all your inputs, and also for your time. Do we have any questions from the audience? I'm just checking. We are coming to end of our webinar. If you will have any questions to any of our speakers, you can write from chat, or you can also write from the Q&A session part of the Zoom account. We are also live in YouTube, so we didn't receive questions right now also from there.
Yeah, it's Friday afternoon. You know how it is.
Yeah, I think we can end our webinar. Thank you so much, all our speakers. Thank you so much, all the attendees from Zoom, and also all the people watching from our YouTube channel right now and following the webinar live. Thank you.
Thank you, SK.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.
Thank you so much,
Thanks,
everyone.
everyone.
And
Cheers.
bye.
Thank
And
you.
have a nice
Bye.
weekend for everyone.
Yes, nice weekend for everyone. Bye.
Bye.